scoot over.
How you want me to sit, like this?
All right, you good. You good.
You're.
Oh man. Yo, what's up, podcast? My name is Dmack. Welcome to Dmack's podcast, where I talk with coaches, trainers, and people in the basketball world about their journey and experience about the game of basketball. Today on the episode, I got Ahmir, and this is gonna be a funny episode because this is a funny dude. Ahmir, introduce yourself.
What's up, gang? It's Ahmir. You know, you can put my Instagram in this?
Uh-huh.
You can put my Instagram in this?
Yeah, for sure.
Or you can follow me on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter. You know, follow my YouTube. Nah, I'm just playing.
So talk to us about how you started playing basketball.
So I started playing basketball when I was around like 5, 6, but I would play at the park teaching myself how to hoop because I didn't have an older brother and I wasn't like in the games. So to get out the house, I spent like hours on hours playing with like older dudes. So like call it park ball. So it's just like basically like building up in like mental toughness and just being tough on the court. Yeah. Because playing out there with older dudes, it's like if you're gonna play out there, you're gonna get treated like how you gonna get treated.
Right. What city you from?
I'm from Compton, California.
Okay. Yeah, it's like that in Compton.
Yeah.
Did you play like rec ball, like at Parks and Recs, or like you played AAU at a young age?
No, I didn't play no organized nothing until I got to like freshman year of high school. That's when I like played my first organized with refs and everything. Yeah. And from there I would play like the wing and the inside just because I was physical.
Right. And you're a multi-sport athlete. You play football too, right?
Yeah.
When you started playing football?
I started playing football about like 10. My mom, she was scared. She always was like, I'm not going to let you get hurt playing football. But I never got injured playing football. Like I got injured the most playing basketball, which is crazy.
Did you play football all 4 years?
Yeah, I played all 4 years.
Dang. Yeah, that's crazy because usually people do get hurt. Like I got hurt playing football, just like minor injuries. But I only played for like 2 years. And I didn't even finish out both seasons. But I was scared to get hurt, which is why I stopped playing football.
Like I've been hit. Like where most people be like, oh yeah, he got a concussion, I get back up like nothing. But I suffered like both my worst injuries happened in basketball. Broken face, and I had like a level 3 sprain in my ankle that I almost tore my Achilles.
That's a serious injury.
Yeah, but y'all got the story. You can ask about that. I got a story for that one.
Nah, go ahead, tell us about it. So how was it? Like, how long was you out for?
So I wasn't out long. I got injured. So the week I got injured was a big week. It was senior night, and we had a rivalry game right after senior night. So I got injured probably like the week before, and I couldn't walk. So like during the game I was playing on it, and my whole foot like was just fat, like took up my whole ankle spot. And then I was like, yeah, I'm done for this game. So the next day I woke up, my foot, my toes was purple, went to the hospital. It was like, oh, you just got a basic sprain, you got to get off of it. I was in crutches and everything. And I was like, I can't miss senior night and I can't miss rivalry game. Yeah. So I was just like, I was playing on it. Like I couldn't run. I was running on my toes. And like, I was just like, I just got to suck it up, go through it. And then right after those 2 games, I was like, bro, I can't do this to my team. Like it was like, that was on selfish on my end. Yeah. And I was like suffering bad. Like I couldn't score, couldn't do nothing. I was like the slowest person on defense, couldn't guard nobody. So I had to sit down and talk to myself. I was like, it's either you play this and I play no more, or you wait it out and then rest up, do what you got to do, and then whatever happens, if we continue to play, then you play throughout there. Because in the championship game, before the championship game, so the semifinal, I felt my Achilles about to pop. Like that's like the most worst pain ever. Like you just feel your whole back of your foot burning. Yeah. And then it just like get tighter and tighter. And I told my dad Hicks, I was like, he was about to put me in. I said, bro, I can't play. And he got mad at me for that. Yeah. He told me to sit at the end of the bench. And then like me and him got into it. He was like, never say you can't play. So,
do you think it was selfish on your part to still try to play on the injury instead of letting your teammates just carry the team and take care of business? Yeah. Like, do you think it was selfish that you was trying to play while you was injured?
Yeah, 100%. That was the most selfish I've ever been playing basketball. Yeah. Like I'm not a selfish person at all. But that moment, it was just like, I was so like a deer stuck in head. Like I was like, nah, I got to prove myself. And I was like, doing that, injuring myself more. So I was like, yeah, let me just stop.
Yeah. So remind everybody what high school you went to.
So I went to 4. So my freshman year, I went to Washington. Sophomore year, I went to Southgate. Junior year, went to Marquez, and I graduated from Southeast High School.
You went to a different school every year?
Yeah, but the reason why it was, so the first year I watched it, something bad happened. Like, some dude was doing drugs in class. You know, I'm a freshman, so I was like, I can't be there. I can't go to school and focus on this.
Mm-hmm.
Second year was when I was taking football and basketball serious in a way, and me and the basketball coach was getting at it. Like, he wouldn't let me play. He would hinder me. So if a starter would do something, if I was in the area, instead of getting on the player head, he would get on my head. Like, oh, why you mess up here, and take me out. So that year, my mom and him were getting at it. And
this was at Southgate?
Yeah, it was at Southgate. And I told my head coach for football, I'm not going to be here. And he was like, for football, he was like, let me get you right. And then after football, you can leave. But I told him I won't be able to play basketball. So that happened. My junior year, I went to Marquez with my little brother and my cousin. And we was playing, and we had like a good team, but I ain't gonna say we had a good team. Us three, we had a good chemistry, but our other players were scared to play basketball.
Yeah.
So it was like, we went on an 11-game losing streak. I ain't never lost that many damn. I've never lost nothing 11 times back to back to back ever in my life. So I was like, I was mad at everybody. And then my dad passed away that year in that area, so I had to get out of there because it was game related. So then that's when I went to Southeast with Hicks, and then from there it was just like, just finish it out there.
So how were you in school? Like, you had good grades? Were you like popular? Were you well known? I'm sure a lot of people knew you because you played sports, but how was your high school experience?
It was like a normal kid. Like, other than sports, I just stayed low. I stayed under the radar. Like, if I didn't know you, I wasn't gonna try to branch out out of my bubble and get to know you, just because if me and you couldn't connect in some way, I'm not gonna talk to you. So it was just like, I was popular, but I wasn't. Like, I was a antisocial popular.
Got you. I feel like you bouncing back between high school and high school, it's not something that everybody goes through. So I feel like you going to a new program, because the question I'm about to ask you is about coming to TMG. You going from a different program to a different city, it's probably nothing new to you because you've been through it so many times before. But I'll ask you the question anyways. You coming to TMG, coming out here to live in Orange County to play basketball for the program, how was that transition for you?
It's kind of rough because everywhere I've been, it's like you have players. Like, TMG has players, but it's like IQ. Like, everybody on the other team that I played for had like a high level of basketball, and it's just like we could connect on the floor, off the floor. We're talking about it. COVID plays a big part too, because like other schools, we would be like, all right, we're gonna go here, just meet up whenever season was done, just play, get to know each other more, get to know each other game more. Now it's just like you only get to practice when we have practice or we go to the park. Everybody don't like playing outside, so it's just like difficult to be like, all right, everybody get on the same level. So it's just difficult. But it's good.
So after you're done with TMG, what are your plans?
I plan on either going to a 4-year or like a JUCO that's gonna get me to a 4-year, and probably do like both sports, and then go into sport medicine as my major, sport medicine and business as my minor.
Okay, so you really want to do both sports?
Yeah.
Like that. It's hard. I wouldn't say it's hard to do both sports, but it's just not really common, I guess, to do both sports at the collegiate level. Well, depending on what level. Like, if you get recruited to go to a school for basketball, it's rare that you will play, other sports. Transitioning into your personal life, what are some things that you do off the court, or when you're not playing sports, that you got like hobbies or some type of career that you want to go into after you're done with like basketball and school and stuff?
After, probably I like anime. It's something about anime. Like, it's like story development, and I like that. And then also, like, every athlete like sleep, so I'm gonna just say just anime. That's about it.
So what about, and like, would you try to create your own anime one day?
Yeah, I try to create my own cartoon. I wouldn't, if anybody's seen like the Boondocks, I'll probably do something like that.
Yeah.
That's more like American anime style. So it's like, it's interesting.
Okay. Yeah, I love Boondocks. I got every single episode on my laptop. No cap.
Good job, man.
So did you go through any like major struggles like coming up, like whether it was like in high school or with sports or without sports? Like, what's something that you struggled with throughout your life, and how did you overcome it?
I was struggling a lot actually. So growing up, I was really like the only child, so I kept to myself a lot. And then playing sports, no matter what sport you play, you got to talk. You got to talk with your teammates, you got to talk with your coaches, and I had difficulty just expressing myself. I still do now, just because I don't like expressing myself to other people. But it's just like you just got to grow up, get out your shell. That's just gonna make you a better person, better athlete. You just in general, you can just talk to people and tell them like, oh, this is going on in your life or whatever's going to happen.
Yeah. How would you what advice would you give somebody that's coming up in the inner city that needs some help or some guidance, and they probably need some words of wisdom or just some motivation to keep going and to keep chasing their dreams? Like, what advice would you give them to keep going?
So the advice I give you, one, everything depends on where you was raised. Like where I was raised at was a lot of drug dealers, a lot of crack addicts, just a lot of bad stuff. But they would always tell it, like me, my friends and everything, don't do this. Like I messed up, but that means that you gotta follow it just because you see it. And my boy Juju and his like uncles and everything, they was like mentors to us. So even though they was doing bad stuff, they would never let us see it. And you always had to keep your head positive at the end of the day. Like, you're not gonna stay here forever. Like, you're not gonna live here. You're not gonna be in this situation forever. So what you gonna do to get yourself out that picture? And never hang around a bad crowd. Always trust your gut feeling too. So if you with some people and you just met them and and you feel like this is a bad feeling, just get out the situation, whatever it is. Just because they're gonna be like, all right, you like a punk or whatever. Let them like name calls, whatever. Cause my mom always told me that sticks and stones can't break my bone. Like words mean nothing, because they made fun of Jesus all they wanted. But once Jesus died and everything, the first person they ran to was him and his father. So they're gonna make fun of you every time. But once you're successful, whatever you want to do, at some point around, they're gonna come back to you and look out. Like, you're gonna ask for a hand every time.
How do you think those struggles gonna help you as you're an adult? Like, do you think they have a bad effect on you? Do you think like you're a stronger person because you went through that? Like, do you think it'll affect you as you become an adult?
Everything you go through, like from a young to you adult, is gonna affect you. But that's where like mental strength comes, where it's like you can't let that affect you. Like, what you went through doesn't make you at all. It just makes you stronger. It just you're gonna build, you're gonna adapt to it. So you just mentally got to be like, all right, I've been through this. I know what to expect. Let me face it head on. Never run from a challenge. Always face it head on.
Yeah, I agree with that. And as an athlete, I always say I like going through the struggles, because once I make it to my successful point, like once I make it, because I've been through so much, that success is going to feel good. If you don't go through much and you just kind of, get to where you're trying to go without no struggle, it won't feel as good as if you've been through so much.
Right.
And I 100% agree with that. Would you say that you agree too?
100%.
Because I've been through a lot too. Kind of similar to you, been through a lot as a young kid, and just making it, because I've traveled a little bit. And when I'm traveling and I'm making it to these places, I'm like, man, I've been through so much. I'm so thankful and grateful to be here. So that's why it's not always bad to struggle, but it's so important that you stay mentally strong and get through those tough times. How did your family feel about you being out here in Orange County and you being out into a predominantly Caucasian city?
They don't care, because I was always raised you gonna present yourself a certain way. So like no racist, no nothing, but it's always like you have to present yourself a different way when you're around a predominant group. Like, you never want to act ignorant when you're around white people, because that's the stereotype that a lot of people of color have, is that they're automatically ignorant. So if you know how to present yourself, like, then that's gonna be like the key in life. Like, if I meet a random person, a random coach or whatever, a boss, and I don't know it, but I present myself professional in any way. I like talk to them, look at them eye to eye. I give them a firm handshake, or I'm not cussing a lot. Whatever the case may be, they're gonna be like, they have a different outlook on me and my race. So they'll be like, oh, okay, I met so and so. All right, I know so and so. He a good kid. He a good man. And that's how you get yourself plugged in, just from having like a good reputation.
It's crazy that you say that, because I feel like when people walk around and they meet these people and they go to new cities, you don't only represent yourself. You represent your race, you represent your city, you represent your family, you represent whatever you claim to be. So, for example, when I travel, there's some people that never experienced people from California or never came across people from the States. And my perception of, like, when they meet me, how I treat them, they might think about, oh, people from California, they're like this.
Right.
So you're not only representing yourself, you representing your culture, your people, your city, and everything. And that's why I think it's important that you really do need to be aware of how you present yourself to people in certain places. So I 100% agree with that. So I know Coach Hicks, but I want to know how he is from a player coach perspective. Well, you know him more personally than just a player coach, but how first of all, how do you know Hicks, and how's your relationship with him?
So I met Hicks at Washington my freshman year, and it was like it was an instant connection. It was like I seen him as like my father. Mm-hmm. So it was like we have like a father-son coach relationship where during basketball I see him as my coach, but after he's like my father figure. So basketball-wise, it's like it's more than what you depend on. So like let's say if you're a good scorer, now you got to use your brain because you're not gonna, it's like how you tell us read the defense and everything like that. Yeah. It's more like, so with Hicks is more than read the defense. It's like, all right, who's the weak link? Who can you attack out of this position? Or you a good athletic person. Don't always depend on athleticism. Like his favorite player is Kobe. So how he does is he doesn't look at what you're good at. He look at what you're bad at, and then he work for you from there. Because what you're good at, you're always gonna be good at that. No matter what you do, you're not gonna get no better. You're only gonna get better from what you're good at. But they look at you, what you bad at, what you lack at. How do you do that good? So he does it. He breaks it all the way down. So first, he'll praise your game and he'll criticize your game to see how you're gonna take criticism. Because when you're an athlete, you gotta take criticism. Yeah. From no matter who it is, a random person gonna have to say so. But if you weak-minded, it's like that person that you gonna say messed your whole game up. Yeah. And it's like he's more or less mental than athleticism, anything like that. It's like he gets your mental toughness right. So he'll break you down. He'll break you down and rebuild you basically. Yeah. And that's like, I'll say like that's the perfect coach. Because when you go to like D1 places and everything, you're gonna have another dude who's exactly like you. Like the coaches, when they scout you, they make it seem like, oh yeah, you're gonna be my guy. But if you really understand that in basketball or whatever sport, there's another dude who's exactly like you. He already told this too. When you get there, you gotta show why you're here. So it's like you gotta understand that once you're there, they gonna criticize every little thing you do. And if once you break down, it's like we don't need you no more because we got another you. Yeah. So it's like you right here, you can't take this. All right, bye. Go back home. You're wasting my time. I'm a guy. Once you leave, it's another person that's coming to take your spot, and so on and so on. So it's just like you just got to be ready for that. Yeah. And by the way, I know Coach Hicks about his coaching strategy is especially because he went to Southeast High School and he really changed the program. And y'all won so many games. Y'all won a ring. That's the definition of turning a program around. So he must be doing something right over there. So whatever he's doing, shout out to Coach Hicks. Keep doing what you're doing over there at Southeast. All right, so at the end of every podcast, I ask my guests 3 questions that I want you to answer. And the first question is, what do you consider success? I consider what success, like after you're done, how are you gonna continue to make money? So it's just like you're not gonna depend on sports your whole life. So after that, what you got to fall back on? So even if, let's say you make it to like top level, you're a pro at anything you do, you get injured or whatever happens, what's your fallback? That's what I consider success. And you do good at your fallback. So if you're doing good at the sport you're doing, that fallback, you do it even better.
So what's an example of like a fallback?
So let's say I make it to the pros, I do my years or whatever happened, I'll make my money, I retire. I open my business, then I have multiple businesses, and my businesses are doing good. So it's more like after that, after you said like, because right now this hot picture. So right now, wherever I go, I'm setting up me, my mom. I'm getting my mom set, and then after that, it go my kids. So my kids, of course, is going to contribute to what I do after I'm in the league. So from there, if I could get them set to start their own, I'll picture that as like being successful.
I got you. So the second question is, have you seen The Matrix?
Yes, sir.
So you familiar with the red pill and the blue pill theory? So if I confront you with the question, if I give you the red pill and I expose you to all truth, or if I give you the blue pill, which pill would you take?
I'll take the red pill.
Why?
Because history always repeats itself in any form. So if I know everything, it's like I could already expect what's gonna happen. Especially like now, we've seen this already before, like civil rights, whatever the case, the racial, everything that's popping up. We've already seen it. So if I know what's gonna happen, it's just like I expect this. I can prepare for it, but you can't never be asleep too long. So I'd rather be awake.
I 100% agree with that. History does repeat itself. And stuff that's going on right now, like you said, all the racial tension and the civil rights, it's happened before. So if we know how to deal with that and we can prepare for that, then it's certain ways that we can move and approach the situation. So, but if you take the blue pill, you wouldn't be exposed to that information. So I agree with you taking the red pill.
It was just now, well, back then it was hidden more. Like you didn't have cameras back then. So you could do something racial to any race and get away with it.
Yeah.
Now it's more or less, you doing it to somebody else recording it, it get out. Other groups get mad, and it's like, all right, we don't do this. Certain groups, like when there was Black Lives Matter, everybody was protesting Blue Lives Matter.
Yeah.
But you don't see cops going out killing other cops, or cops. Of course, cops gonna kill any race, but you don't see it as in like how they did black people, where you get pulled over, you can't do something. Like you reach for something, even if they tell you to reach for it, and the other officer probably went to the car or whatever. And he come back, oh, he don't see that, he don't know what you're going to do, he going to shoot you. In the other race, they going to tell him to stop, talk to him. They don't do that with black people.
Yeah, I think that's for sure something that we, as a people, got to approach the situation together. Because I feel like we, as a race, we react too emotionally to situations and not think critically about the situation, if that makes sense. So I think we, as a people, got to come together and talk about how we can solve these problems that's going on. But I don't think it's gonna happen like individually or without a plan. But yeah, we kind of going off topic, but this conversation right here needs to be held with all black people. I think it's a must to have these conversations about what to do when you're in the presence of certain people. But anyways, on to the next question, or the next statement I should say. The last question is not really a question, it's a statement. So leave yourself a message to hear 5 years from now. So leave yourself a message so that when you watch this video, you could like tell yourself some advice or something that you want to remember. What message would you leave yourself?
Hey man, look, check it out. Let me talk to you. You to go. Just not, temporarily. You just to go to everything you do. You got to be the best. You got to always keep that fire, that competitive fire in you. Not even this, like, just the world. You always want to be better than the next man, the next man, the next man. You always want to be like the big dog. So you always want to be the alpha. You always want to be the lion, the king. No matter what you do, you got to bring fire to everything. You might not be the best now, but you're not picturing for right now. Picturing the future. You always chasing a ghost. Like how LeBron said, he's not chasing MJ no more. He's chasing his legacy. His legacy's still going because he's still in the league. He's still trying to improve himself. So what he did last time, he don't picture, all right, I did this, I'm going to do this again. Nah, I did this, I'm going to do this now, but I'm going to do it 10 times better. It all becomes like mental.
Before we end up, do you want to give anybody a shout out? Say what's up to fam or whatever? Because first of all, we're going to make it big. This podcast is going to make it big. So wherever he shout out right now, y'all should be thankful.
Shout out to my mom, shout out to my little sister, my girlfriend, and then shout out to my brother Dupree. That's my little brother. But I picture him as like my big brother when it comes to sports. Like, that's the only person he only play football, but that's the only person I know that will like go out there and no matter what he gonna do, he gonna give it his all. So it's like that right there started when we was young, just going at it at everything. Like, my family's very competitive. Like very competitive. Like there's nothing that we not gonna do that somebody ain't gonna try to beat you with, no matter what.
I see that in you.
Yeah, so it's just like you just gotta keep that fire, like I said.
Yeah. All right, for sure, man. Well, again, thanks for joining the podcast. For all the viewers, thank y'all for watching.
Got it.
All right, thank y'all for joining the podcast. I appreciate y'all for watching. Stay tuned for all the future videos we got coming up. I'm going to try to post a video every single day from January 12th until February 12th so that y'all can stay engaged with all this content that I'm posting. Again, thank y'all for watching. Thank you. And I'll see y'all again soon. Peace.
Gang in here.